Good morning, I'm Craig DeGrelli. It's Friday, January 24th, 2025, and these are your Unbiased Updates. The showdown over the nomination of Pete Hegseth to Defense Secretary is about to come to a head, with a confirmation vote set for later today. Reports are now indicating that he paid a woman $50,000 to keep quiet about a sexual encounter at a hotel. The big question, will it derail his chances? And the assassination files. President Trump opens the books on the killings of John F. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, and Martin Luther King Jr. Why now, and what happens from here?
From the Straight Arrow News Studio, bringing the stories that matter to you from across the United States and around the world, these are today's Unbiased Updates.
President Donald Trump's pick for Defense Secretary, former Fox News host and Army veteran Pete Hegseth, who served in Iraq, is a major step closer to getting the job after the Senate voted to advance his nomination. Senators voted, mostly along party lines, to move forward 51-49, with 2 Republicans joining Democrats in voting against the nomination, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska and Susan Collins of Maine. That vote sets the stage for a final confirmation vote today. Hegseth is expected to secure the majority support needed to join Trump's cabinet, despite facing misconduct allegations and objections from Democrats who say he's not qualified to lead the Department of Defense. And they have questioned his judgment amid reports of heavy drinking. This also comes as the Associated Press is now reporting Hegseth admitted to paying $50,000 to a woman who accused him of sexual assault in 2017. After an investigation, the district attorney in Monterey County, California, did not file charges. The AP says the payment admission was written in answers provided to Massachusetts Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren in response to additional questions she had for Hegseth as part of the vetting process. During his confirmation hearing last week, Hegseth told senators he was falsely accused in that case and had been completely cleared. In addition, he has pledged to refrain from drinking if he becomes Secretary of Defense. President Trump says he will appeal a federal judge's order blocking his executive order ending birthright citizenship. On Thursday, a U.S. district judge in Washington state granted a temporary restraining order against Trump's executive action, calling it, quote, blatantly unconstitutional. The case, brought by Arizona, Illinois, Oregon, and Washington, was the first to get a hearing before a judge and applies nationally. It's just one of 5 lawsuits, including 22 states, and several immigrant rights groups across the country. Today, President Trump is set to visit 2 of the states on that list, North Carolina and California. He will tour areas devastated by Hurricane Helene in western North Carolina and the wildfires that are still raging in the Los Angeles area. Tomorrow, he will be in another state that is suing over birthright citizenship, Nevada, where he'll hold a rally in Las Vegas. Nevada was a key battleground state in the recent election. Trump became the first Republican presidential candidate to win that state since 2004. President Trump followed through on another one of his campaign promises Thursday, signing an executive order to declassify all government records related to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, his brother, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and civil rights activist Martin Luther King Jr. Straight Arrow News reporter Lauren Taylor has a look at what releasing these files could mean and why now.
And everything will be revealed.
The assassinations of JFK, RFK, and MLK Jr. have long been subjects of widespread speculation and conspiracy theories. People have questioned whether the official narratives about their deaths, often involving lone gunmen, are accurate, or if there were other forces at play. People may wonder if there are details that have been hidden for decades that could change our understanding of history. President Kennedy was shot and killed while riding in a motorcade in Dallas, Texas on November 22, 1963. The suspect, Lee Harvey Oswald, told reporters he did not kill the president. Oswald was shot and killed 2 days later. The President John F. Kennedy Assassination Records Collection Act of 1992 required all documents pertaining to JFK's assassination to be released by October 2017, unless the president decided the harm in releasing the files outweighed the public's interest. During Trump's first term in office, he promised to release all the files. However, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., RFK's son, told Tucker Carlson during an interview last year that former CIA director and Trump's then Secretary of State Mike Pompeo pressured Trump not to release the JFK documents.
I talked to President Trump for the first time about that this week. And
what did he say?
He said that Mike Pompeo begged him to, and I don't think I'm telling tales out of school here.
No,
I think he told the same thing to you.
That's
right?
true.
But he said Mike Pompeo called him and said this would be a catastrophe to release these. You need to not do it.
Many have questioned why all records related to a president's assassination nearly 62 years ago have not been released to the public. RFK Jr. has said he believes the CIA had something to do with his uncle's murder, and keeping the remaining documents classified was the government's way of covering it up. After signing the executive order, President Trump told his aide to give the pen he used to sign the order to RFK Jr.
Give that to RFK Jr.
Yes, sir.
The executive order states that more than 50 years after their assassinations, their families and the American people deserve transparency and truth. It is in the national interest to finally release all records related to these assassinations without delay.
That was our Lauren Taylor reporting. The order requires the Director of National Intelligence and the Attorney General to coordinate with the Assistant to the President for National Security Affairs and Trump's legal counsel within 15 days and present a plan for releasing the documents. Turning to the UK now, where the teenager who stabbed 3 young girls to death at a Taylor Swift-themed dance class last July has been sentenced to more than 50 years in prison. The judge in the case said he could not impose a sentence of life without parole because the killer, 18-year-old Alex Ruda-Cabana, was only 17 when he fatally stabbed 6-year-old B.B. King, 7-year-old Elsie Dot Stancombe, and 9-year-old Alice Da Silva Aguilar. However, the judge said Ruda-Cabana must serve 52 years minus the 6 months he's been in custody before being considered for parole, adding, quote, "It is likely he will never be released." The prosecutor told the court that Ruda-Cabana was obsessed with violence and genocide. United Healthcare has named a new chief executive officer. Parent company United Health Group announced Thursday longtime employee Tim Knoll will become the next CEO of its health insurance company following the killing of former top executive Brian Thompson. A gunman murdered Thompson on the sidewalk outside a New York City hotel in December. It was caught on camera and stunned the nation. Prosecutors have charged 26-year-old Luigi Mangione with several counts of murder. Mangione is currently being held without bond in a Brooklyn jail. He has pleaded not guilty. United Healthcare, the nation's largest private health insurer, says Knoll will bring unparalleled experience to the role of CEO. He joined the company in 2007 and most recently served as CEO of United Healthcare's Medicare and Retirement Department. Finally this morning, the Oscar nominations are out, and the musical Emilia Perez leads the pack with 13 nominations, including Best Picture. Other movies vying for the top prize include the historical epic The Brutalist and the film adaptation of the Broadway hit Wicked, both up for 10 awards. Conclave, a thriller about the election of a new pope, and the Bob Dylan biopic, A Complete Unknown, nabbed 8 nominations. Rounding out the 10 movies in the Best Picture category, independent films Anora, Nickel Boys, and I'm Still Here, as well as the blockbuster sequel Dune Part 2. We will find out which film the Oscar goes to on March 2nd when Conan O'Brien hosts the 97th Academy Awards. Meantime, I'll be watching lots of football this weekend. Should be good. Championship Sunday in the NFL. Those are your unbiased updates for this Friday. We'll see you back here on Monday. From all of us here at Straight Arrow News, I'm Craig DeGrelli. Have a great weekend.